Hello, everybody. My name is Ricardo Cabrera, and I am the operations manager here at the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Boulder County. And today we are going to be talking, and we have as our guest, Mae Sandberg. Mae, would you tell us a little bit about yourself? Welcome.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me, Ricardo. I'm so grateful to have an opportunity to speak to you and your community. As you said, my name's Mae Sandberg, and I'm an outreach and engagement manager with the National Institutes of Health. So today we're going to talk a little bit about this great opportunity for the Latinx community to be a part of the All of Us research program. A little bit about myself. So I'm Mexican American and very proud, right? My family lived in Mexico City, in Polanco, and we are Jewish Mexican people. So they do exist and we're out there. I've been in the United States for the past 22 years. I love both my American family and, of course, my Mexican family. And I've worked for the past 22 years in advocacy for Latino resources, outreach, anything that has to do to make sure that our communities are not left behind and are included in all advances, all educational opportunities. So this is just something that's really important and very close to my heart.
Wow, what a great story. And so welcome. So
Thank you. Thank you.
let's get started. So let me ask you this. First of all, what is the NIH? I know what it is, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what the NIH is and where it's from, what they do?
Absolutely. So the National Institutes of Health is this big umbrella where all research comes from at a federal level from the United States. So right now, we've heard a lot about like the recent advances with COVID, right? So we're talking about like different pharmaceutical companies that are advancing the vaccines and the treatments. Well, the National Institute of Health kind of oversees all of that, and it sets an example and really just kind of guidelines as to how research should really be done to make sure that everyone is included and that those advancements include, everyone from different communities. So you would have heard more about the NIH before, but right now COVID kind of came in and took everything over, but we are still very much a part of that push. And we are providing a lot of information to help us find a cure or treatment for COVID-19.
Wow, yeah, no, and the NIH, like a lot of federal programs, they try to stay behind the scenes. They do a lot of good things, and they're not known to a lot of people, but they're always there. And in this case, the NIH is all health related, right? It's all about medical
Yes.
medicine, and so on. So you are the outreach and engagement manager for the All of Us program. What is that? What is the All of Us program? Tell us about that.
Sure. So the All of Us Research Program is this really large historical program that has one goal: to help researchers understand more about why people get sick and why people stay healthy. So what we are trying to do is all people, right? So when we say all of us, traditionally we used to only include certain people, not because we didn't want to include other people, but we just didn't have enough participation. And quite frankly, the NIH didn't do a good enough job of making sure that we made this available to all and we invited all. So really right now, what we want to do is make sure that we've learned from that and that we do better. And we want to know what makes, the Black community, more susceptible to certain diseases or to certain, predispositions. The Latinx community, the Native American and Hawaiian community, the Asian community. We don't want to leave anyone out or anyone behind.
Right. So you are going to be trying to include everybody in your research. Now, you said it was a long-term research. How long is long-term?
Yeah, long term. So right now our goal is 10 years. But to be honest, we really would like 100 years, because 10 years in research is really small, right? We only see a little window. So we're really, really hoping that we can take this on to about 100 years. And that way, the things that we learn in 10 years help me The things we learn in 20 years help my daughters. The things we, learn in 30 and 40 years help my grandchildren. So that's the thing about research, is that we kind of need a long time to see things and make advancements. So that's our goal. 10 years right now. Again, we want to believe that we can make this happen for longer than that, and 1 million people.
Wow, 10 years and 1 million people. That's quite a bit. And
we can do it though.
Yes, you can. And diversity is one of your main important goals with this. So and therefore we're here reaching out to our community, to our circle of influence. Tell me
Yes.
what will it be asked of somebody to participate? So say you've sold me, I'm convinced, I want to participate. So what happens? What's next? Tell me.
Absolutely. Well, I really love that you're excited about it, and I haven't even told you everything. So one thing that the National Institute of Health does is says, slow down. Okay, let's make sure that you fully understand what the program is. And I love that, because I do want to make sure that people are informed and aware. And also, one thing that's different from this program is that we're very transparent. That means, so to participate, Ricardo, it's very simple. You can go to our website, which is allofusresearch.com, or join all of us. And then there's also, if you go to the Google Play or Apple Store, you can download our app. And it has a white background and it says all of us on it. And so you can start by creating an account. What the NIH will do, and again, we're very much about, okay, let's explain to you what the program is. We'll go through and explain exactly what the information is going to be used for. So you can participate and give us as little or as much information as you want. You can just answer surveys. You can give us information about Ricardo, how tall you are, a little bit about your background, what kind of health status you have. And that's another thing too. You don't need to be healthy in order to participate. So that's another misnomer there, like, oh, I need to be a healthy person to do this. No, you just need to be a perfect human being. Exactly the way you are, you're a perfect candidate for this. So you can do it that way. There's other steps in that too. If you feel comfortable, you can share your health electronic records. If you're comfortable and you have like a Fitbit or something like that, or an Apple Watch that that tracks your movement, you can share that information. You can go as far as sharing your DNA, and we will mail you a kit for a saliva swab, and it gets mailed back to the Mayo Clinic, and they hold all our banks of DNA information. Every time you share something with us, the NIH will let you know exactly what that's being used for. So you'll go, once you have an account, it won't say Ricardo on there anymore. You'll have your unique code, because your privacy and security are our top priority. In the past, there have been legal demands to try to find out who our participants are, and we have signed certificates of confidentiality all the way up to the federal level, so that any legal demand that says, I would like to know what Ricardo contributed, those get marked out. They don't have access to your information. The person who does have access to your information is you, which I think is so cool about that, is that you get to see exactly what your information is being used for. So if you join us, you can do it in those levels. And then there's like a complete bigger level where you work with one of our partners and you can go into a clinic like your local Quest clinic. They usually do like labs and so forth, and you can donate blood and other things. So again, you can start as little as just giving us your information. That's enough. That's great. We know where you live, your environment, your habits. That's great. And you can go as further up as you want. But it all starts by downloading the app or just going online.
Wow, that's a lot of information you just shared. I'm trying to process
I know.
everything at once. So wow, so it could be, I mean, from what I heard, it could be as little or as much as you want it to be personally. I mean, sharing
Absolutely.
your DNA is a big deal, right?
It is. And what's really neat about the DNA aspect of it is that, let's say that you do feel comfortable doing that. That would be great. And we will share back with you what we found out. Now, keep in mind, that can be something that's good or something that says, hey, based on your DNA, we see that there's a trait here that you may want to discuss with your doctor. So we offer genetic counselors to work with you to help interpret that information so that you can have a conversation with your doctor. Another thing too is you can choose to not know. Some people don't want to know. They just want to give the information. They would like to live their life not knowing. That's okay too. So it's really like you as a participant, we're not a subject. We're a participant. We're a partner, just like the Chamber of Commerce is our partner right now. We're not just test subjects or numbers, we're people, and we're given a lot of opportunity to make informed decisions about our health.
Right. So I mean, I've heard of this DNA programs where you sign up and they tell you that you really are European and Mexican and percentages, and you get this plus more because you have the option to get, medical information, which I can see, like pregnant moms. Some wants to know and some don't want to know. And in this particular case, I'm curious now that you're mentioning on all of this about, learning more through my DNA and the app. You mentioned the Fitbit, which is, I'm sure, an
Yes.
extra added source of information for you guys to be able to track the health of the country now. You mentioned diversity earlier, so I'm assuming diversity is important because as Hispanics, as Latinx, as first generation or third generation Mexicans, we're all different, and
Yes.
and it's hard to be able to track that in a country like the U.S. because there's not enough information. I'm assuming that this is why diversity is important for you guys.
Yeah, and honestly, diversity is important for several reasons. The first one is wanting to know like where we live and how we live and our background and how that can affect our health. If you think about, different parts of the country, you might be exposed to, more carbon monoxide, and that affects your health. The quality of your water, that would affect your health. So we want to know a little bit about where people live, how they're living and their background and how that's affecting their health. Their second thing is figuring out how many groups of people have been left out of research in the past. And we've talked about how we could do better. So again, that means that researchers know less about us as Latinx people because we just haven't been part of the research in the past. And then, so if we can get that information by studying, the information from diverse people, researchers can learn more about what makes people sick and what keeps us healthy. And we could learn and we could lead to do better treatment and disease prevention for everyone. So that's really important there too. And for me personally, I didn't grow up in a culture, my parents never said, hey, if there's ever a research study, you should go ahead and do it. It just wasn't something that I grew up with. Now my daughters, because I work in this, they're like, oh, so I should participate. So it's really not something that's been naturally ingrained in my culture. And that's just something I didn't know about. But right now with COVID, honestly, Ricardo, like I felt so unable to do anything. And this is something I can do from the comfort of my home. I mean, I know you see my background here, but I'm in my, fourth bedroom right now. This is my new normal, but it's something I can do. And I never felt like I needed to until now because COVID is hitting us all, right? It's not just certain people. So it's now part of my culture. Like now my daughters know, hey, if there's an opportunity to do this, try. And I also know that it's been scary. So one thing about the All of Us research program is that you do not need to have, we do not look into status, like legal status and so forth and so on. That is not a requirement of the program. Everyone is welcome, everyone's information. You live in the US, you're standing here in the US, you can participate.
Wow, and you stole my next question out of my mouth. So legal status is not important. It's not even considered. They're not going to ask you. But one very important point that I noticed you made is the fact that culturally, Hispanics and Latinx generally, we are not of a culture where participating in research or even surveys, you get surveys in email, I never answered one until I came to the US. And that's got to be part
Right.
of your challenge, as all of us as the NIH to be able to reach local community. So, besides talking to us, I'm sure you guys are reaching other groups in Colorado, rural, local cities. Tell us, how's their response been? Tell me about that.
Well, it's slow, but it's meaningful, right? So, especially in Colorado, I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, so I'm way away from you guys, but I have loved the people in Colorado. And why we chose Colorado is because there's this term called underrepresented and biomedical research. That means that historically, people in Colorado haven't taken part of most research. That's because you have a lot of rural communities. And for example, some of our targeted areas that we've not, heard from are like La Junta, Evans, Denver, Trinidad, Pueblo. We want, and we know people are there, right? And we want those people of all, our people are there, other people are there. We want them to participate. So I will say that I've had the warmest welcome from Colorado, honestly, wonderful people. We have a podcast coming up here soon. The YMCA is our partner. So we have big partners, right? The YMCA, that sounds great, Walgreens. But honestly, my favorite part is in the smaller, close-knit communities. Chamber of Commerce's, you guys were the first to get back with me and share that you were interested because you care about your community. Libraries, public health agencies, the LGBTQ community, Colorado One, they all want to be part of this, and that's exciting. So I will say that Colorado has been very welcoming, and I think we'll be able to share more and have more people participate from your state because of good friends like you guys.
Well, thank you, Mae, for all this great information. Enlightening. So just so everybody knows, I'm going to have Mae's information down here in our description with links with a little bit more information about all of us research program. So if you have any questions or if you're interested to participate, please contact Mae, contact me at the Latino Chamber, and I'll guide you her way. So before we finish, Mae, I have one last question, a surprise question for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Mae. So what's your favorite word?
Oh, in English or in Spanish?
In English.
In English. So, no, that's okay. The thing about English is that it's so different from Spanish, right? So I read once that these two words in English were beautiful words in the world, of the English language. And it's the word cellar door. And now I love saying that, cellar door. And you would think it's just to cellar, but when you think about putting those words together, they really are beautiful. So I don't have one particular, well, if I had to choose one, it would be love. That's my favorite word, love.
Excellent. And with that, perfect segue to the finish. So thank you so very much, everybody, for staying with us. And until next time.